Today's guest is Gabrielle Rose. Gabrielle Rose is a well-known actor in Canada. I can't say enough about Gabrielle Rose, maybe because she's one of my oldest friends, and as artists we started out together, and we've always been side by each, shoulder to shoulder throughout our careers. She originally went to Bristol Old Vic Theatre School in England. She was then part of the Bristol Old Vic Theatre. She did a lot of theatre in England before returning to Canada when I originally met her. She's a well-known stage actor, has played all the lead roles. She was an ingenue, and she has progressed throughout her career to who she is today. She was in all of Adam Agoyan's original films. She has been and will be in a lot of Bruce Sweeney films. She's in a lot of American films now. She plays the character role of the older person. She's always employed. I mean, who is always employed as an actor? Well, that's Gabrielle Rose. She's a Canadian icon, and we don't really cherish our icons the way we could. And we could cherish her even more. Even though she's won every award going, she's won the Genie Awards and the Gemini Awards, and she's been nominated many, many, many times. Gabrielle Rose has made huge contributions to women in film, to film in Canada, to film in the US, and to the art of theater and acting. I'm very proud and honored to have Gabrielle Rose as my guest today. And, you know, that's when I knew that I wasn't an actor. Because when you're with somebody who's really, really good at something, you go, wow, that's what it's supposed to look like. And so it was and is with Gabrielle Rose. And I still go to, after how many years did we decide that we've known each other?
You were 26 and I was 31.
However long that was. When we met. Can you believe that? And she was, at the time, playing Juliet, Romeo and Juliet.
And I was a bit old for Juliet even then.
You were a beautiful Juliet. And we met at Shakespeare Plus on the island.
Yeah.
And we started a friendship back then that has lasted all of these years.
Decades.
And we've really remained friends, like not just I'll phone you up once every year or at Christmas time. We've actually remained friends. And I think that's a rare thing. We've lived together. I lived with Gabrielle's mother in her basement until she finally had to kick me out. I would not leave.
No, she didn't want you to leave.
I never wanted to leave her mother.
She really enjoyed having you there.
I loved her mom, and
because Sheri-D's really fun. She's
Yeah.
really fun to hang around with. Has an immense creativity.
And so we met, and I have watched Gabrielle's career close up for many, many, many years. And I have seen her in many plays, mostly in Vancouver. Well, those are the plays that I could attend. I would even fly to Vancouver to see those plays. And I also have seen her in many, many films. And I think, around that time, you left Vancouver. I ended up moving in with your mother.
Yeah.
We were living together, and then, but we weren't lovers. We're just not just friends. We're really friends. And then Gabrielle moved to Toronto for a while.
That's right.
And that's when your career as a film actor really took off from that point.
Yes, that's right. It did, because of Adam Agoyan. Yeah, that's where I met him. It was around there. Yeah.
And you were in several of Adam Agoyan's films.
I was in 4 of them, or 5. Anyway, and I was involved maybe in 6. It was a number anyway. Yeah, it was a very exciting time.
What was your favorite film or character that you played with Adam McGoyan?
Probably the most fun character was the one in The Adjusters, and Mimi. But that was the most. It was funny because when I first read the script, it was initially he'd just written sort of like, weird thing happens in the subway with these two people, right? He just sketched them in, and then by the time we shot it, they were really quite full-blooded characters. And in fact, Maury's character became like a leading character, or maybe it was already, but my character wasn't. And it was fun to create that, and to sort of have this sort of like rather depraved imagination of what these characters were up to.
I love Mimi, but the Sweet
Hereafter was probably the best film.
I love that film as a Canadian film, as a film. I mean, I remember when we used to go to Blockbuster. I went and rented it, and it was in the foreign film section. It was a Canadian film.
Yeah.
And I went, and it was like
that was quite common.
And they felt that it was too good to be a Canadian film at that time, so they gave it foreign status, which was hilarious, and it was really good. That was one of I think that's my favorite of those.
Well, and probably my favorite acting experience, like in terms of being a serious actor. Mimi was so much fun, but it was basically dancing and pretending to have a shower on a table, whereas Dolores was a very simple but complex character. Yeah, there's so many layers, and Adam was so brilliant at directing me in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good time, and then you moved back to Vancouver.
I did.
And
well, I'd already moved back to Vancouver, I think, at that point, and I was brought out to do because we shot a lot of it. All the exteriors were in the interior of BC.
Right.
We shot up in Merritt.
Right.
Yeah, up near Merritt. And there was snow. It was like, I think, December the 5th, so we were lucky we got snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very chilly. We went bowling in Merritt and things like that.
Super fun with Adam McGoyan.
With Adam McGoyan, it was fun. Yeah, it was an excellent experience.
Yeah. Can you talk about your role as the Queen? I think of the roles that I've seen you play on stage, that is the one that just it blew my mind. I couldn't even, when I think I wanted to be an actor too, and that was one of the roles where I was like, I told my friends, you know when you see a performance like that like everything changes, and you go, wow, I really never was an actor.
Oh, that's nonsense.
Oh, come on. I'm just going to say
nonsense.
that role, Gabrielle, I'm not arguing with you.
But like, the thing is, acting is such a sort of strange, I don't even know what the word is, like hard thing to keep hold of. It's so immaterial, and so there's times when the role suits you and you lock in and you get a good director and a good script and boom, you're good. And then there's times when you're just shit, like you don't have the script, or it doesn't resonate, or you've asked for the wrong part. That's a thing that a lot of actors do, is that they want the leading role or the showy role, and it's really not their role. It's someone else's. But they do it anyway, and then they're miscast. And then you're setting yourself up for failure. And those failures inform the success. They inform the ability to recognize when the part is yours, and when you just drop in. You don't even think about it. It just drops into your body, and this is good. This is good. And you can't do any wrong.
And now for tips and tidbits.
So it's not really, anybody can be an actor. Anybody, if they have the desire. And they have to work, though. They have to really work at it. It doesn't just, there's some people who are naturally talented, who just have it inside their body, and you see them. The Janet Wrights of my era, the Susan Wright, that family. had this sort of integral ability to access the truth of the role they are in. And they didn't reach. There was no reaching, no trying to be something. They just were. And it's taken me my entire career to understand that. You know, to not desire to be other than myself, but to find within myself what the character demands.
Well, that's a definite tip and tidbit. It's more than a tidbit. It, like, really, I'm
Did
going
I
to
get
check.
lost?
No, that was
I got
brilliant.
a
That
little
was.
bit lost, I
I'm going to make that a thing, because that was beautifully said and beautifully articulated in a way of truth. So
Thanks.
thank you.
Well, I think I went bright red in the face.
Yeah.
That happens to me, and I get rosacea.
Oh,
Did you know that?
no, I didn't know that.
See, you don't know everything about me.
You've been hiding your rosacea.
Well, I've always had rosacea, but I didn't know it was that. I thought it was like when I drank wine, for instance, I go bright red in the face. And when I'm embarrassed, I go bright red in the face. I blush very easily. So people who blush very easily often have a condition called rosacea. And what happens is that over the years, your veins all start to pop in your cheeks, you know, because of so much flushing. And then sometimes for some people it's in their nose. And so it's actually a pain in the cheek. And then sometimes you'll get little pimples. And so you have to have like a treatment for them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. See, if I drink wine,
Mm-hmm.
I go red for embarrassment of what I do. Or other people do.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was a sign that I was actually allergic to wine.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that I have an allergy.
Allergy.
Yeah.
Good point. Tip and tidbit. You're going red, probably allergic.
Yeah, probably.
Your liver's probably doomed.
Oh,
it's probably your liver's doomed, and you
My
know.
liver was doomed when I was a child, I think.
Oh God.
I mean, there was DDT and fucking
My liver was doomed when I was born. Too.
lead everywhere.
It wasn't all that drinking.
lead soldiers that you played with, and lead candy, I'm sure.
Yeah, we were sucking lead.
All the paint was lead.
Yeah.
Cars were all lead. And, you know, it's supposed to take away your brain power. So that's why.
That's why. Explaining, that is it. The lead.
Yeah.
It wasn't the tin. But
Well, I'm sure tin did something too, I
tin,
think.
yeah, less than the lead probably. But now everybody wants to put the lead to, you know, keep the microwaves away from your brain.
Oh, what? Wrap yourself in lead so that the microwaves can't hit? Okay, that's a good one.
Okay. I have to keep that one.
That's a visual.
Yeah, that's a visual one.
Yeah.
Well, back to the Queen.
Oh, the Queen. Well, I've played two queens. I played Queen Elizabeth in Elizabeth Rex, and I played Mary, Queen of Scots, in, and I've forgotten the name of the play. Okay, I think it's Mary Stuart. Yeah, Mary Stuart. Yeah.
I was thinking Rex.
Yeah, Rex. I know. That one really got a lot of attention. Yeah. Okay, so what do I say about her?
Well, you know, I thought it was...
I can tell a ghost story about her.
Okay.
Okay. So, the Stanley Theatre, where we did Elizabeth Rex, is renowned for being haunted. And it's haunted by 3 actors, one of whom is a woman, and the other 2 are men. And various people have seen them. They've actually taken a picture of them a couple of times. But I never think about it too much. I work there, and I've never really seen them. I've heard a couple of thumps, etc., etc. I always want to see. I'll kind of close my eyes when I'm on stage and hope that I see one of them sitting up there, because that's what they do. I've never actually seen one. When I played Elizabeth Rex, I had this huge, long makeup period before I could go on stage. I'd shaved my head, so I had to put, you know, white makeup all over. I would wear this little onesie type of thing to do my makeup in. And then Danny, who is the dresser, would arrive like, I don't know, 6:45 to get me dressed for an 8 o'clock show. And getting me dressed was a whole hoopla. with all the stuff and the under things and the cinching in. And I'm sitting there putting on my makeup at just before 1:45. And I hear Danny in the hallway, and I hear him say, "Oh, what are you doing? Well, you're already dressed." And then he comes around the corner, and he goes, and then he looks at me and goes, "Oh," like this at me. I said, "Who are you talking to?" He said, "I just saw you in the hallway, all dressed. All dressed to go on stage, like in my whole outfit."
But he thought you were the ghost?
Well, he saw the ghost and talked to the ghost, then went around the corner and saw me, not a ghost,
The ghost was impersonating you?
impersonating me.
Well, that's freaky.
Well, they're old actors, right?
Right.
A bit jealous.
They're a bit jealous that you're still alive.
It's a good story.
That's how
though.
actors are. How dare you be alive? I'm going to be you.
That's a true story.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought about ghosts impersonating someone like that. I remember once where I was staying at my uncle and aunt's house in down east, and my cousins, I hadn't seen my cousins for a long, long time, and I was staying there, and it's back when I was more extreme, and I had the really, really black hair, and I had this, I used to travel with this sort of silk kimono that had long, long sleeves, and it was like orange and yellow, and it was kind of ghostly. And so my uncle said, you can stay in this room. So I stayed in that room, and it was Aunt Aurora's mother's room.
Ooh.
And apparently she died in there.
Ooh.
And I hadn't really heard all of this story. They just said, you're staying in there. And I was like, cool. And I woke up in the morning, and I put on my kimono and my moccasins, and I came out, and there was my cousin, my young cousin, who I hadn't seen for a long, long time. And I said, hello, how are you? And with my black hair, I looked a lot like her grandmother as a young woman. And she just screamed, and then she went running out the door and into the compound and to the barn where my uncle was. There's a ghost, the ghost of Grandma. And I had never been mistaken for a ghost before, so it was a big deal. Because, ghosts are, meaningful, and they usually mean something, and they usually have some kind of message for you. But when you're living and you get mistaken as a ghost, it's a whole other level.
Yeah.
Or if you're living...
And she didn't run to you and go, "Granny, I love you."
No, she was just
"Granny,
right.
where have you been?"
I have questions for you, or can you tell me something of the other world? It was like, no, I don't want any part of this. We wouldn't run.
Oh, I don't know. I screamed when I saw a ghost once.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I didn't see the ghost because I'm not very psychic, but I saw this door opened. It's a very long story. We don't want to get into it. It's another ghost story.
Another ghost story. Well, I guess, ghost stories, they do exist because there are ghosts.
Yeah. But suffice it to say, I ended up screaming.
Oh.
When I sat on the bed and the bed went, pfft. I saw the flickering of the light, this candle in the window. Saw that settle. And then I felt this cold thing. And then somebody sat on my bed, and then I screamed.
Oh, yeah.
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 But I didn't see the ghost. And maybe if I'd seen the ghost, I don't know. I've never really seen a ghost.
They say if you see a ghost
Yeah.
and you scream, it's okay. But if you tell the ghost, go away and never come back, you'll never see another ghost again.
Oh, that's interesting.
So you moved back to Vancouver.
Yeah.
And then you did quite a bit of stage after that. And then you started getting film after film after film.
Yeah, I sort of became determined to get some film work. I don't know quite, well, I guess the change was I did briefly fall in love with a filmmaker. That might have been why.
I remember. Yes.
Yeah. But I think too, I was intrigued by the art of it, how to access that truth inside. I felt like it was sort of essential for my growth as an actor. And I think that, as like I said before, acting, it's very hard to teach it. It's essential that you learn, and it's very hard to teach it because each person is so individual, and how they approach the role is their journey. It's not yours, and you can't really tell somebody, well, do this journey, because it has to come from inside of them. But film demands it. Film absolutely demands that you tell the truth. And if you're not telling the truth, it can tell. It absolutely can't. You can't begin to lie. So that's an interesting thing, isn't it, in this day and age? Eh? We can tell who's the liars in this world when they film themselves.
Yes, I think that's true. And I also believe that our ability to see a lie is skewed because we are faced by so many lies every moment, almost of every day. We're faced by so many lies, stretching the truth, fake news, fake footage,
Fake faces.
fake faces, fake emotion. We're basically overfaked.
We're overfaked.
We're just inundated by the fake. And so are we able to see the truth anymore?
I think we can recognize it. I still think we can. I think that we might not care about having truth in front of us any longer because of all of what you've just said. But at the same time, I think we still recognize when something is genuine, and we then revere it. That becomes something that the community of mankind will understand and recognize. I believe that. And you know, it's interesting because I think that the whole division that's happening in the world right now is so distressing, it's so upsetting, and it's perhaps why we're all feeling off key. You know, we're all feeling off tilt. I've got vertigo today. It might be the weather. It may be just the world and the fact that I'm not sleeping very well, right? And I don't think anybody's sleeping too well because of the mess that mankind has managed to make. But I think there's hope. I think that it is about mass mind. And so the mass mind has gone one way, and things do have a pendulum swing, right? So I trust that it will swing this way, and trust it will swing back and back until we find common ground, you know, the center of the Venn diagram.
Vesica Pisces.
Well, I didn't even know what you just said, but that sounds fantastic.
I know. It's my word. It's my intelligent word. It's the word I use.
Well, you have to tell your
Vesica
followers,
Pisces.
you have to tell the viewers what that means.
Well, the Venn diagram, yes.
Yes.
But it's also the holy space. And in the holy space, it's called Vesica Pisces, where things overlap and you understand. It's like our energy is mixing right now. Mm-hmm. And especially with good friends and with people that we know well, our energy will mix. And in the middle of us is the Vesica Pisces, and we're mixing. And our energy and our frequencies are exchanging energy. And so there's all sorts of things that can happen within that. And the Vesica Pisces is actually the shape of the
Vagina.
And so when I think of a holy place,
Were you going to say vagina?
I was going to say vagina,
Sorry. I just thought I'd throw it in there because it was.
It is the
But it
vagina.
was what you were going to say. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so interesting.
We think alike, because we have hung out for many years. In fact, if it wasn't for you, God, remember my first poems?
I do. I love your first poems.
Yes, but you gave me a note,
But
which was, oh, this is cool, they're very abstract. At the time, I felt like if I make them abstract, I'll hide the fact that I don't have any idea about what I'm talking about.
right.
And I will hide the fact that I am uneducated and I love poetry, but I know nothing really about it.
Right.
So I'll just make it as abstract and far out so nobody can really understand what I'm talking about. And then they'll think I'm smarter than I am. That's what I was,
Yeah.
You know.
Of course.
and then you said, it would be really great to know what you're really talking about. And that's the authentic thing.
It is.
It's the authentic, get down to it.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you trying to say?
Yeah.
And I would
Say it simply.
and say it simply. You would say,
I
and
just emphasized on Willow's head.
oh
She didn't even know. She
no,
didn't
she's
know
used to it because I'm always emphasizing on her head. She's like, wow, now I have the whole
This is
family
Willow.
here.
This is Willow.
Willow.
She's our mascot.
Yeah, she's
Sheri-D's child.
well, I think she's my companion,
Companion.
and she's my familiar for sure.
Yeah, there you go.
And she's really just wonderful to hang out with because she's so friendly. I would go for walks and I wouldn't probably talk to anyone. Not that I'm unfriendly, but I just prefer not to. And Willow's like, I love you, I love you, I love you to everyone, and then I have to say hello, I love you too, and and now I'm kind of used to it, and I'm now friendlier because of my dog.
Yeah, yeah.
I find myself friendlier and happier.
See, that's what I was talking about, common ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the Vesica Pisces.
The holy vagina.
The holy vagina.
Holy is correct.
Holy.
Sorry, I don't know. Sometimes I just go there. I really don't mean to go there, but
I know, it's hard not to.
it's hard not to.
Yeah, we always used to.
And we always have. And so what you said about my original work was get down to it and make it real.
Yeah.
And what are you really saying here? And to understand what you're really saying, you have to understand what you really feel. And it takes you to a much more honest place.
Yeah, yeah, honesty, right? We come right back to it. Truth. That's it. That's the crux. It's truth. And I tried to say, I have one of my children. They're grown, but he loves to tell a good lie. It's just sort of like part of it. And I understand that because I used to think the truth would not do. That people would be, that's boring, or how dare you, or whatever. So I would tell a lie, a white lie that kind of would see me through the situation. And the thing that I've learned as a woman in her 70s is that the truth will do. And it sets you free. It really does. Somebody said that, that's a famous quote, truth will set you free. But you never have to remember what your lie is. You can always remember what your truth is, right? And if I've told a little white lie 7 months ago about why I couldn't go to the party, and then they talked to me about it 6 months later, I won't know what I said. I won't know what the reason was. Aunt Betty or whatever it was, she had a little stroke. I don't know. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas if I just say, no, I was just too damn tired, and so I didn't come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
That's
truth,
the truth.
Truth is a good thing on many levels. Then again, Patrick Lane, I remember when Patrick Lane said to me this story, which I'm going to try to quote him because he's no longer on this realm with us. He's in the spirit world, and I don't like to tell other people's stories. However, I will share this because it's Patrick Lane, and he said he came home one day and he told his mother this great story, and it was just a great story, and she and he kept on exaggerating, and he kept on going further with it and further with it, and she said to him, "Stop lying, you're a liar, stop lying." And he said, apparently, "I'm not lying, Mom. I'm making it up."
Yeah, there is a, absolutely. Where would we be without fiction? I love fiction.
So there is that, right?
There is
There
definitely
is,
that.
like, so you go, okay, so there is this kind of division.
Yes,
You know,
definitely.
a lie is not the opposite of truth, although it can be. And a lie can also turn into something you make up.
A magnificent creation.
A magnificent, you can create worlds. And are they real? Okay, so there's the question,
like Philip
real
Pullman. I mean,
and
I love
unreal.
his stories.
Yeah.
And they're
And
magnificent creations.
Ursula K. Le Guin.
Yeah.
And she can speak the truth through a made-up world.
And I mean, I love a good detective novel too. And they're fiction. They're not truths, but there might be truths within them.
Within them.
Like, and so it becomes a way of delivering a truthful philosophy, perhaps,
Yeah.
for some people.
Yes. And I think because you can set up worlds that are make-believe. You can set up scenarios. You can set up almost anything you want to in a story. But then you allow your characters to speak your truth.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes in again, the truth.
Yeah.
And the authenticity. And also observing the world and being able to tell the truth about it.
Yeah. If you can figure out what that truth is. I mean, there's where we come right back to what you were saying about the misinformation that we're fed all the time. Like, you know, what we think is a truth might not be.
It might not be. And yet, if we know that, we can get to the deeper truth. Because I believe there's ways of getting to the deeper truth for sure.
And one of the ways is to listen to both sides and to do deep investigation.
Yes.
But without prejudice.
Without prejudice, deep investigation, and that's what we don't get a lot. In some news we do, but in most news we do not.
Yeah.
And that used to be the authority because it used to give both sides, and it used to give all a levitated point of view, a point of view over here, over here, over here. What are the different points of views? And now to get to that deeper truth, we have to find those, we have to be the investigative journalist.
Yes, and not just listen to the big three or whatever post-media bullshit. And like that, the thing, I love the news. I love reading about the news and all the rest of it, but there are people who just want to influence the news and they insist it be a certain way. And so be aware of that. Like I would say, like, be aware of that. And, I mean, that applies to all of walks of life as well, right?
You're with this person day in, day out for years and years. Suddenly you look at them and you go, are you me? That you look at them and you know them as if you would know yourself.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, live over half your life with somebody. And my husband and I, Rothgart and I, my husband and I, we've been together for 32 years. 30.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. I've known you even longer than I thought. I had myself 10 years younger. So,
41
yeah.
years we've known each other.
Yeah.
We've known each other for.
Because I suddenly realized I've been married.
That's longer than I've been alive.
I've been married to Rothgart. Well, I've been together with Rothgart for like 32 or 33 years, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, 33 years.
Oh.
Terrible.
Remember when we lived together in the West End?
Yeah, I do.
And we used to go out and we'd see these old ladies feeding the birds, and we'd go,
Yeah.
you know, don't we just love those old ladies who feed the birds?
Yeah, I know. And then the LOL beach, right?
Yeah,
Well, now I'm the LOL on LOL beach.
yeah.
LOL beach is like Bikini Beach, just, what is it, west of English Bay? Just
Yeah.
west of English Bay. It's this
Yeah.
little promontory. It's become very popular. And in the olden days, it would just be little old ladies there sitting in their bathing suits, and then they'd go swimming for hours because they were in such good shape. And we called them the LOLs, the LOL beach. And now I am the LOL.
I know. We've done the whole thing together. We've done the whole thing. We have become them.
Well, isn't that sort of inevitable? That's the cycle of life, right?
Yeah, but you never imagine
No.
yourself. You know.
never do.
I
And I
never-
remember sort of my mum would be sitting there with her girlfriends, with Gail, and they would talk nonstop about illness.
Yeah, Gil would
And I'd be like, oh.
Gil would be, my arm hurts, my nose hurts, my feet hurt, my everything hurts.
My uterus fell
My
out.
uterus fell out. And we'd be like, oh.
Oh, too much information.
And now I can't even sit down for 20 minutes without going, oh, my leg, ow.
I know. Well, I guess, people become obsessed about health as they age because things start to fall apart.
Yeah.
And so you go, well, how do I fix it? And then you start talking, oh yeah, my elbow. What do I do about that?
Yeah, don't you have a sore elbow too?
Exactly.
Don't we all have
I
sore
can't
elbows?
lift it. I can't do up my bra. All that stuff.
In my neck. But I'm now going to be Gail and you could be Eve.
That's right.
Oh my God, yeah. Thanks for bringing them. You know what I wanted to ask you more than anything else was, who are your influences? Who are your mentors?
Well, yeah, that's such a good question. I guess the first one would be my dad, right? Because, my grandfather was a playwright, a producer, and a vaudeville artist. And so he was sort of in the business. In fact, when he was in I think the 40s or something, or the 30s, he was pulled before the courts and he had to declare himself a rogue and a vagabond in court because he was being done for taxes, like non-payment of taxes or something. And my whole entire family has an existential I can't even say it. Existential fear of the tax man, which I've overcome in my lifetime, which I feel very proud about, actually. I'm not scared of the tax man. And I can say that right now. I keep my books and I pay my taxes and I'm not afeared of that person. But, so getting back to who influenced me. My father was a child actor, and then he quit and became a doctor and went back to school, etc. But he still loved the theater, and so did my mother. She really loved the theater too. She was a huge supporter of the theater, and she actually did some directing, and she directed me once, and my dad. So I had a lot of encouragement from there. And one of the first teachers that influenced me was a man called Hubert Flynn. And I was like 9 years old, and I felt a little bit apart from everyone. I was a bit younger in my class. I'd come from England. We'd been there for 2 years, so it wasn't. And he included me in this community and cast me in like Robin Hood. And I was played Much Miller. Do you know the character Much Miller in Robin Hood?
Oh no,
No, nobody does. It's because Much Miller has 3 lines. And one of them is humph. Anyway, I played that part. Everybody laughed whenever I spoke. And I came off stage in tears. And Mr. Flynn and my dad explained that the reason they laughed was they were really enjoying my performance. And so I had to adjust my thinking. I thought I was doing a deeply dramatic role. But then I started to think, I kind of enjoyed having them laugh.
Yeah.
Anyway, So that was Mr. Flynn, and I was also like the gong in The Student Prince as well, and my mustache kept falling off. I remember that too. I would hit the gong, and half my mustache would fall off. Oh, so cute. Then when I went to high school, there was another teacher there, Tom Kerr, who had an enormous influence on my career and life. He was a very complex human being, but very creative with it. And he's formed the Western Gold Theatre, not Western Gold, no, he formed the Western Theatre in Kamloops. But he took us to Edmonton and to the theatre festival there, and we played in the West End with a play, and anyway, did a ton of stuff under him, and he gave me a whole bunch of roles in my life. I was sort of deeply in debt to his legacy. And then after Tom, I was in England, and I don't know who would have been my mentor there. There were a bunch of ladies who were in a play who told me not to take my clothes off, which was interesting because I was taking my clothes off in a play at the time, and they were very concerned that I shouldn't do that again. So that was kind of cool that they talked to me. I didn't really listen to them because I did take my clothes off again several times, but I did think about it each time, like, was it necessary? And did I really want to do this, or was I being coerced? So that was really a great thing that they did for my career. And then when I came back here, well, Anne Wheeler in film, I'd say she was a huge mentor of mine, huge mentor. I'm eternally grateful to her. And she has that thing, like she has that truth, that core, genuine truth. And she's made brilliant films. I was honored to be mentored by her. Yeah, I would say.
She really is a powerhouse.
Yeah.
And in Canadian filmmaking and
I have to mention Bill Miller too.
Oh yeah.
So Bill Miller, who ran the Arts Club, he over and over again gave me opportunities, cast me as Elizabeth Rex. He cast me in almost anything I wanted to be cast in. He would cast me. He was very loyal to me, and just a different form of mentorship. It's not like somebody sort of really guiding you, but at the same time, just giving you opportunity after opportunity. Bruce Sweeney and Adam Egoyan, both people who have given me tons of opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you are the one that introduced me to one of my teachers, Mickey Monsell.
Oh, Mickey Monsell, yeah.
You know, without Mickey, my life would have looked different. There's certain people that your life would have looked different without them, and they may be considered your mentor, but they are also people that supported you as an artist. And you know, we often forget to mention those people. I'm glad that you did, because often those people they're not mentioned.
No.
And so it is so true.
Yeah.
Because there's always, and visual artists are the same, like someone who collects their work.
Absolutely.
It's a huge compliment for your work when someone loves it and gives you more work.
Yeah, John Wright is another one.
Yeah.
All these people who've employed me. Thank you very much.
Well, you've been employed a lot by a lot of people.
Yeah.
You have continued to, basically be like I'm really good friends with you, and sometimes you don't have time to see me.
I know.
And like for an artist to be so busy and working so hard that they say, well, I have to see you here because I am fully employed and I am so busy until that time.
I deeply regret that aspect of my the last couple of years, actually. I mean,
The last couple of years, you have worked more than any human being.
I know, and no, I have this work ethic, which is that if it comes to you, you must do it. And I am exhausted. I am absolutely, without a doubt, past the point of being able to do another job right now. And I'm so grateful that the job that I have lined up has been pushed till February, and I've got some time off. But that's the problem with aging, is that, and maybe it's just the problem with my aging. I don't know. I've had COVID a bunch of times, so maybe I've got a bit of long COVID. I don't know. But I am absolutely wiped. And I've worked too much. But they've been great things to work on.
Yeah.
So I've been like, how do I turn it down? I can't.
And that's the thing, when you have so much work and you're, it's great to be popular, and it's great to have that much work, and it's great to, to know that everyone wants to hire you again and again and again and again and again. And so I guess if you're exhausted, that's a good thing. It's art exhaustion. And, if you have art exhaustion, time for work.
I'm sorry. No, I just nodded off for a second. I think it's because of Willow.
Oh, yeah.
Are we done?
No, I have one last question.
Oh, okay.
I always ask everyone this one question.
Okay.
What poem did you memorize as a young person that you can still say today? This is Poems by Heart.
I think that I shall never see a billboard lovely as a tree. Indeed, unless the billboards fall, I'll never see a tree at all. It's what I memorized when I was a kid. I mean, what do you want, Baba Black Sheep?
No, but and then what was the next poem?
Oh, okay, this one, this isn't really a poem, it's sort of a poem, but this is like a tongue twister thing. Okay, so. Okay, I'll do the serious one first. To sit in solemn silence in a dull, dark dock, in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and cheaper chopper on a big black block.
Oh.
Okay, and then this one.
Oh.
Old Mrs. Reddyfunt had a funny punt, not a punt rough cut, but a rough cut punt.
That's it? That's it? That's your poem? Remember what I said? That poem that you memorized when you're young, the poem that will live in your body for the rest of your life, that poem will affect you and influence you and take you on your journey of life. Well, those are Gabrielle Rose's poems.
Well, I only have a few poems.
Yeah.
And those are them.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Like, I'm not a poet. I'm not like you.
Well, do you think that poets are paranoid and actors are neurotic?
Well, I expect we're both. I think we're all everything, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, poets are more capable of expressing themselves in a creative way than actors. Because you can have like a thing that happens to you, and instead of taking a tranquilizer, you'll write it down.
And then I'll take a tranquilizer.
If your doctor will give you one.
Yes.
Which they won't.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Yes, that's true. I have noticed that, just to wrap it up, that most actors are have really not messy houses, but
It's not my fault. Not entirely my fault.
not messy houses, but just disorganized houses.
Yeah.
Like really, every good actor I know, I go into their house, and I'm discombobulated
Yeah.
because
I go into my house and I'm discombobulated. Oh my God, I don't know how we got there. We got here. I just don't. And every effort I make, every clean space that I create gets filled up. I've had to just let go. Oh my God. Save me.
save me from my house.
I love it when I'm in a hotel. when I work out of the house. Yeah, my house is crumbling around me.
No, it's not. It's just really a creative space.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, I love your house. Even though when I'm there, I try to tidy up because I have to have everything. Otherwise, my brain.
Yeah, I know.
And I think poets are a little bit. I don't know. Something to observe.
Yeah, totally.
I love you and thank you for being here with me.
Thank you. Fun.
Fun with Gabrielle Rose.
Thank you, Willow.
Later, agitator. In a while, bibliophile.